Hello everyone, myself Soumya Rao, MECS, and I qualified UGC NET Computer Science in June 2019. The topic that I have chosen for today's video is normalization. Before starting with the topic, let me brief why I have chosen this topic. So according to UGC NET examination, this normalization in DBMS has more weightage. As we can see many questions coming out from this topic, that is the reason that I have chosen this topic for today's video. So let me start with the definition. So normalization is a process of organizing data in database. So let me take an example of today's pandemic situation. So we have lots of COVID patients. So it is important for us to store the details of these COVID patients somewhere. So where do we store this data? We store these data in database. So whenever we store these data in database, we have to make sure that we store them efficiently. So to do so, that we have a process called normalization. It helps to store the data efficiently. So other thing is that when we store the data, we have to make sure that the data is not stored multiple times. For example, there is a COVID patient A. So we have to make sure that the details of that COVID patient A is not stored multiple times. So as I told, the data will be stored in form of tables. So if I store the COVID patient A details first, again I am storing the COVID details of patient A again. So here I am storing multiple times. So this creates a duplicacy of data. This duplicacy of data is called redundancy of data. So we have to make sure that this will be minimized as much as possible. So this will be done by using a process called normalization. Normalization will help us to reduce as much as redundancy in tables. So the next advantage of normalization is that we have insertion, deletion, and updation anomalies in DBMS. So all these anomalies that we have can be avoided by using this process normalization. And in DBMS, we have large tables, right? We will be having large tables. These large tables can be converted to a small tables, or it can be decomposed to these small tables by using this process normalization. This is another advantage of this process normalization. So there are different forms of normal forms. Firstly, let me start with the first normal form. So normalization achieved through these normal forms. So first normal form definition says like this: each and every attribute of a relation must contain only atomic values. As I told, data is stored in the form of tables. These are called the attributes of the table. Every attribute of a table must contain atomic values, means every attribute must contain only single value. So in this example, if we check the subject, if we see subject, one column contains two values, CN and Java. So it contains multi-valued. So we can tell that this table is not in first normal form. Atomic values means it should contain only single value. So what we can do is we can convert this table into a first normal form by decomposing table. So how to decompose table is that, so one column that I have will be converted into two columns, and I will write like this: subject 1 in one column, subject 2 in another column. So here I'll be writing my CN, and here I will be writing Java. If I do like this, so every column contains only single values, so atomic values, then we can tell that this particular table is in first normal form. No multi-valued attributes are allowed. As I told, the same thing, multiple values are not allowed inside this table. Then we can tell that the table is in first normal form. So the next type of normal form that we have is second normal form. So this is second normal form. So the conditions for second normal forms are: a relation must be in first normal form. So let me take an example. If I tell a particular student is in 10th standard, it is understood that the student has qualified 9th standard, then he has composed 10th standard. A same thing, if we want to check that a particular table is in second normal form, we have to make sure that the table has qualified the conditions of first normal form. The next condition is that no partial dependencies exist between relations, that is, relations must be present in full dependencies. That it is telling that the table should not contain partial dependencies. How to check whether a particular table has partial dependencies or not? That tells this statement: the LHS of FD should not be a proper subset of candidate keys, and RHS must not contain a non-prime attribute. So to check whether a particular table has a partial dependencies or it is in full dependencies, this condition will be helpful. So what this condition is telling, that The LHS, so these are the functional dependencies. The LHS of these functional dependencies should not be a proper subset of candidate keys. So for example, if we consider this example, here, these are the two functional dependencies that are given. And in this example, they have given the candidate keys also. These candidate keys can be found using the closure method. In this example, they have specified the candidate keys. The first condition is telling the LHS of the FDs should not be a proper subset of candidate keys, and RHS should not contain a non-prime attributes. What is this prime attributes and non-prime attributes is that? So attributes that are helping to form the candidate key are called prime attributes. The remaining attributes that are not constituting to form the candidate key will be our non-prime attributes. So here if we see, so candidate key, the attributes that are helping to form the candidate keys are A and B. So my prime attribute list will be A comma B. So we don't have any other attributes other than A and B in my FDs. So my non-prime attributes will be null. So now we are asking to check whether the LHS of all FDs is a proper subset of this candidate key. Here if we see the first FD, LHS is A. So A is a subset of A. A is not a proper subset here. So the first condition has satisfied. So we can tell that the first functional dependency is in second normal form. We'll check the second functional dependency. B. LHS of second FD is B. So again here if we see B is a subset of the candidate key. It is not a proper subset. It is a subset of candidate key. So we can tell that the second functional dependency is also in second normal form. Since both the FDs are in second normal form, we can tell that the table is in second normal form. So this is about the second normal form. Next, the type of normal form we have is the third normal form. So let me start the third normal form. So third normal form, the conditions are the table should be in second normal form. The same example, a student example, to qualify the third, to check a particular table is in third normal form, we have to make sure that it has qualified the criteria of second normal form. The next statement says no transitive dependencies exist between relations. So what is the transitive rule we have? If, for example, if A goes to B and A goes to B goes to C, then we can tell that A goes to C. That is a transitive rule we have. A goes to B and B goes to C. Then we tell that A also goes to. Then we can tell that A goes to C. This is the transitive rule we have. Then how to check this transitive rule, whether it exists between relations or not? It can be found using this rule. LHS should be a candidate key. We know what is a candidate key. Since this is the same example, my candidate key will be A and B, which is already specified in the question. This is found using closure method. So A and B is my candidate key. My prime attributes also are A and B. We found in the previous example. So my non-prime attributes will be null. I don't have any other attributes in the FD, so I can tell my non-prime attributes will be null. And RHS should contain a prime attributes. Here, if we see in this particular example, so LHS is a candidate key or not, we have to check. So LHS of first FD is A. It is present in candidate key list. We have to check. Yes, A is present here. So the first functional dependency is in third normal form. So next we have second functional dependency B. We have to check whether this B is present in the candidate key list. Yes, it is present. So we can tell that the first condition is satisfied. Since they are specified or condition or RHS, so if any one of the condition is satisfied, we can tell that for all the FTs, we can tell that the particular thing is in third normal form. So the second condition, let me check the second condition also. The RHS should contain the prime attributes. I'll take the RHS of every FDs and check the list of the prime attributes, if it is present or not. B is present in the prime attribute list. Yes, it is present. So the second condition is also satisfied. Next, A. So second FD, the RHS will be A. So I'll check whether it is present in the FD list. Sorry, prime attribute list. I'll go check. Yes, it is present. So second condition is also satisfied. So I can tell that this particular relations or table is in third normal form. So this is all about third normal form. So the next type of normal form that I have is BCNF. So let me start BCNF. So what is BCNF is Boyce Codd normal form. This type of normal form is called the most restricted type of normal form. Why? Let's see. So the table must be in 3NF. Same example, student example we can apply here. To check whether a particular table is in BCNF, we have to make sure that the table has qualified the criteria of third normal form. Then we will be checking the BCNF condition. The BCNF condition says like this: LHS should be a candidate key or a super key. If this condition is satisfied, we will tell that the table is in BCNF. If this condition is not satisfied, then we directly tell it is not in BCNF. In the previous normal form, if we see if this condition was not satisfied, that if LHS is not a candidate key, then we will go and check the second condition, since or is specified here, whether it contains a prime attributes. If it contains a prime attributes and the LHS is not a candidate key, we can tell it is in third normal form. But if we see in BCNF, there is only one condition. If that condition is satisfied, then we tell it is BCNF. If it is not satisfied, then we directly tell it is not in BCNF. That is the reason it is called the most restricted type of normal form, that is BCNF. So previous example, the candidate key list was A comma B. So we'll check whether LHS contains this list. A, yes, A is present in this candidate key list. Again, LHS is B here. Is it present in candidate key list? Yes, it is present. Then we can tell that this relation is in BCNF. Here they're telling along with this candidate key or a super key. So what is this super key is that? And CK plus anything is nothing but your super key. So definition of super key is this thing: CK plus anything will be my super key. So anything extra that you add with your candidate key will be your super key. So candidate key is always minimal. Minimal thing, whatever you have, that you will consider as a candidate key. Along with this candidate key, if I add anything, for example, I have three attributes A, B, C. So A is my candidate key. Along with A, if I add C, AC or AB, something if I write like this, then this key is called the super key. So this is all about the BCNF. So the next type of normal form that I have is fourth normal form. So let me start with that. So fourth normal form. So the relation must be in BCNF. To make sure a table is in 4NF, we have to make sure that the relation must satisfy the criteria of BCNF. So the condition for 4NF is no multi-value dependency exists between relations. So for example, if we consider this table, SID 21. So 21, we have some details A and C. Again, if you see the next column, again 21. So this course is depending on this SID 21. Again, if you see, again these details are depending on the same SID 21, 21. So it is stored multiple times. This dependency should not exist if you want to tell this particular table is in fourth normal form. So this is all about fourth normal form. Next, I have the fifth normal form. So next I have fifth normal form. So it should, the condition to be in fifth normal form, it should be in fourth normal form, and no joint dependency exists between tables, and joining should be lossless. So when we join two tables, the join should be lossless. That is the condition for fifth normal form. So if you want to join two tables, we have to make sure that any one column is common for both the tables. So in this table example, if we see SID is common for both the tables, so I can join these tables. So after joining these table using some join, the output that we got is this one. So here if we see, the first table contains only 3 rows, second table contains 3 rows. 3 plus 3, 6 rows should be my output. But for this, whatever we got is 9 rows. So we got 3 extra rows. That is called loss of data. That loss of data should not be there if the table should be in fifth normal form. The 3 rows what we got extra are called spurious tuples. This shouldn't be there if we want to tell the particular table is in fifth normal form. So BCNF is the most restricted type of normal form. This is the Venn diagram. Then I have my third normal form. Then I have my second normal form. And finally, I have my first normal form. This is the Venn diagram for my normal forms. BCNF. Then I have my third normal form, second normal form, and first normal form. So this is all about normal forms. Thank you.